All right, back with the fellas. Joe Musso pleased to be alongside Jonathan Jones, Bryant McFadden, Patrick Peterson. Diving into these three evening matchups we have, and the first maybe clerical work. Let's get to it here, JJ. We're looking at a Bucs team that answers the bell, but defense over offense in this one. What did you make of that side of the ball specifically?
You know, when I look at what the Bucs defense did, they're going up against an inferior opponent in the New Orleans Saints, who are a bottom three team in the NFL, a team that was forced to finally make quarterback switch, moving from Spencer Rattler to Tyler Shough. We'll see if that continues. Obviously, they invested a high second-round pick in Tyler Shough to be their guy moving forward. So we'll see there. This is a Saints team that just frankly is not very good. They just put Eric McCoy on injured reserve. This team has been in need of a rebuild for some time. Hopefully one is coming before the trade deadline. But kudos to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who really, once you got to the start of the third quarter, they could take their foot off the gas, right? I mean, Baker Mayfield was in a hat most of the time when I looked up over there, and they are doing it and winning easily without Mike Evans, without Chris Godwin, without Jalen McMillan. The latter two, they should be getting back at some point, and that is why the Buccaneers will not be in the trade market for a wide receiver.
You make a great point there about what they're working through offensively. Defense in those situations has to take the onus, and they certainly do. Anytime you can take it away twice with fumbles, take it away twice through the air, you're going to give your team a great chance to win, and your offense doesn't have to do a whole lot there. Where have you seen this Tampa Bay defense start to form an identity? We saw an early identity offensively, but what's the defensive identity?
Well, finding ways to create turnovers. That has been an emphasis for this defense, and I think it really showcased itself today. Because if you look at the history between the Saints and Tampa, especially there in New Orleans, regardless of what has been going on with the Saints, they oftentimes play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers extremely tough. They try to make it a four-quarter ball game. So when you look at the Buccaneers, where they are currently in their schedule, the bye week is coming up. So I wanted to see if they can actually be dialed in instead of looking forward to the bye to get that much-needed week of rest. But guess what they did? They were dialed in, they were focused, the sense of urgency was there. In a day where you only had one offensive touchdown, and that came by the way of running the football, Baker Mayfield had pedestrian-like numbers, 152 yards, 0 touchdowns, and you still covered the spread easily, and you won by double digits. That is an encouraging sign. To JJ's point, after the bye, you would think they would be healthier to be able to go into this gauntlet that they're about to embark in on. The next 3 games after the bye for Tampa Bay, New England, Buffalo, and the Rams. All 3 playoff caliber teams. So this bye week is coming in a more important time of this season for the Buccaneers.
Pat, sometimes we see good teams play to their opponents. We see great teams play above and beyond to their own standard. We see a team maintaining its own standard right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, against a lesser opponent, as JJ put it, here in the New Orleans Saints. What does it take internally for a group to do that, to rise to your own standard and not play to competition?
It starts with the head coach, and Todd Bowles, a guy who's been on this coaching staff when they won a Super Bowl, a guy who's won a Super Bowl as a player, so he understands what it takes going in each and every game, each and every week. So he has his team, laser focused on not their opponent, but how they need to attack this game. And they attacked this game very well. Like B-Mac said, Baker didn't have to do much today. Defense, 4 takeaways, a bunch of sacks, pressuring the quarterback. When you're able to do that, that 9 out of 10 equals up to a win, and the Bucs won today on defense.
On the other side of this one, it's fait accompli for a Saints team that has all sorts of issues. But I found it interesting, the decision in the midst of this game to turn to Tyler Shough from Spencer Rattler. It's sort of like, do you want a hamburger or a cheeseburger, no cheese? It felt very similar right now.
I'd rather cheese on my burger.
But I'm telling you, there's no cheese on either one of those burgers, is the point I'm making.
I'm with you.
Thank you. Did it make sense to you, Matt? Maybe I'll ask JJ. Did it make sense to you to make that decision at that moment of not just the game, but of the season? It felt like we maybe had seen in moments over the last few weeks momentum from the starting quarterback.
Well, it did feel that way, but, I made a joke earlier about how every time I looked up, it appeared like Baker Mayfield had a hat on. Every time we looked up, it also felt like the Buccaneers were running into the end zone with the football, either as a touchdown or a touchdown that was called back or as reason to celebrate. There were a lot of turnovers, and whether this ultimately means that Spencer Rattler is going to be sat down for the rest of the season or it was clear to Kellen Moore, a former player himself, that, okay, this is just not Spencer Rattler's day and we have to get the young guy in there. Whatever it was, they weren't going to win the football game with Spencer Rattler there at quarterback. So I did understand that. But moving forward, I think the Saints really, truly have to be honest with themselves about where they are. We talk every year about the salary cap issues. They have DeMario Davis that they can trade away. They have Cam Jordan that they can trade. We know that Alvin Kamara does not want to go anywhere. They have Rashid Shaheed and or Chris Olave that they can trade. They should be doing that. This is the time that the Saints should be doing that, because this is very clearly a lost season. They have underachieved the past several seasons, and they've kicked the can down the road. It's time to pay the piper. It's time to go ahead and unload some of these contracts and start truly looking toward the future.
You share that same opinion?
I agree, because right now the season is over. You don't want to factor in and start focusing on 2026, but for the Saints, in terms of their organization, that is what you need to start putting all your ducks in a row in, getting ready for 2026 and getting assets for some of the quality players that JJ mentioned. We've heard both wide receivers named being thrown in those conversations. There are quite a few teams that could use either guy. You know what I mean? You talked about Cam Jordan. You know, the San Francisco 49ers could use a pass rusher. You talk about the Dallas Cowboys could use a pass rusher. There are quite a few teams that could use some of those players that have playoff aspirations, legit playoff aspirations. In terms for the Saints, this is a rebuild. They need to get ready for the future.
Yep.
Is the quarterback on that roster right now? Because with a rebuild, you rebuild around a coach and a quarterback. It's just today's NFL. You added one this past year. You added one a couple years ago. Are you continuing to add in this cycle moving forward with all that hypothetical capital we talk about?
Yeah, I mean, when you're a first-year head coach, I really believe that he was dealt some bad cards. You know, he didn't have opportunity to go in and get a quarterback that he truly wanted, or they didn't have the positioning to get the quarterback they really wanted. So, yes, they are still in a quarterback market.
And with the win here by the New York Jets, not that we are doing the tankathon thing just yet, but there are a handful of one-win teams in the NFL maybe vying already for that first overall pick. Worst record by a starting quarterback through 14 career starts. They didn't let him finish this one. Spencer Rattler got his one win earlier this year, but not a whole lot of
Well, there's a Hall of
rosy
Fame on that
feelings.
list.
Yeah.
There is.
Troy.
Reason to be optimistic, right?
I
don't like
I'm a-
hamburgers. I want cheeseburgers.
critical in moments. We will show you the critical moments from this Tampa Bay Buccaneers New Orleans Saints. It is a burger with cheese, fries on the side coming next on HQ.
When you need your sports news all the time,
We've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you,
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
with highlights
What a finish at the final round of play.
and in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap,
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.